Hey, good afternoon. Huntington's disease, Todd here. Hey, I talked earlier about the fact that is the Huntington's brain a superpower? Or, what is your superpower in your brain? Sometimes we have some negative thoughts about things and how they are treat us in life. I want you to listen to this one thing here that I have. This is Charles Sabine. He did an interview on a TED Talk, and just listen to what he says about a curious thing about Huntington's disease.
Until they become sick, people with Huntington's disease are in fact quite exceptional in many ways. They have more grey matter, for example. They tend to be higher achievers. Amazingly, we don't really understand the link here, but it's an amazing thing. But people with Huntington's disease have an 80% resistance to all cancers.
So, Charles, what a journey you've had with Huntington.
So there you go. What do you think about that? I heard that stat a few months ago, and it's been dawning or gnawing at me for the whole time that I heard it, because I've thought about it. Now I want to segment this talk into three sections so that you can kind of know when it's going to start and finish. I'm going to call it the past, the present, and the future. That'll be easy enough for me to remember. Okay, so when this TED Talk happened, the research has been done. Charles Sabine is an author that has Huntington's disease. His brother, very accomplished at whatever he did. I can't remember if he was a world-class surgeon, but whatever his brother is, he's very accomplished at it. So it made me think, I don't know of anybody that I can recall in my family that you would say didn't have, more of a advanced brain. Almost everybody that I know that has been involved. So I want you to start thinking about the people in your family from your past. So from the past, my grandfather, he was a big achiever. He got a lot done. He moved to Florida. He bought land. He had a house moved to his property. He worked at Ford his whole time, and he retired. He got Huntington's disease. But hey, that makes me think, even though we have Huntington's disease, maybe if we learned earlier or found out and got involved with this process earlier, it would give us more time when we've got that higher achieving brain working for us. Okay, so that's the past. My grandfather, his grandfather or his dad before him, wherever this came from, it's come from high achievers. I'm kind of excited about this, and I hope you can grasp what I'm saying. We seem to have more brain matter with Huntington's disease. I don't know if this is true for other diseases, but I know that I knew several folks that had ALS, and they seem to be, high achievers. They seem to have accomplished a lot in life. Just think about yourself. Think about your spouse or your parents. Think about your grandfather. Just think about the people that you've been involved with. So I call it a little bit, maybe having Huntington's disease is kind of like our superpower. We have a more advanced brain. So during the past, our relatives, they accomplished a lot to get to where we are, and if you go back a few generations, it was a lot harder in life to accomplish things, get things done. Okay, so then, that's the past. So let's go a little bit into the present. The present time, think about yourself and what you do and what you've done. I've heard a lot of comments on here from folks that sound to me like, we are a bunch of high achievers. We are a bunch of people that have accomplished a lot. Now, we're also from that generation where, we had a little bit more of the get up and go, and we had a little bit more of the, at no cost, we don't lose at no cost kind of thing. That's how I was brought up, not to say it's right or wrong. But anyway, so I'm in my 60s. Obviously, my mother just died. She was in her 80s, and then my grandfather, died before that. So we're talking about many years that have gone by. So the past, it seems like the people in my family had a high achieving brain. Now, it doesn't mean that everybody has to be a superstar, but it does mean that, people that have Huntington's disease, I think that maybe we start out with a little bit of an advantage in life. Now, it doesn't always turn out great at the end. I've always said it, and I'll always say, I'm sorry for folks that have it worse than I do. Some cases of Huntington's, are ravaging, and there's, it turns it very negative, and that I understand is out of all of our control. But just think about that person that's in your life. So from your past generation, were they achievers? I bet you'll find out they were. And then what about now? What about the present generation that we're in? The present generation that we're in, that's us. I'm going to do a video next week, and I'm going to list all of these really high achievers on the front lines of Huntington's disease right now. High achievers that not only are learning about it, but also are involved with it. Okay, so that'll be a video that I'll do, and it's going to be about all the great organizations and people that are fighting for Huntington's disease right now. So that's the present. That's where we're in now. During this present time, how do you feel about yourself or the people that you know that have Huntington's disease? Gosh, I was successful. I learned a lot from my mother. She was successful, but I learned it, and I put those principles into play. So, is Huntington's disease something that we can take advantage of when we're younger? Yes. Sometimes it causes anxiety. Sometimes it causes those kinds of things sooner than we would like. But let's just say that if we, started in our 40s and we really worked hard, even if we knew we had Huntington's disease, and, we could work until our 60s or late 50s, we could accomplish a lot knowing that we have kind of an edge on some people, right? I've seen a lot of people that don't have Huntington's disease, and they are, they don't accomplish a whole lot. Now, that doesn't mean anything other than some people do and some people don't achieve things. And then what about the future? What about so we've got the present, the past, the present, and now the future. I think the future for Huntington's disease is going to be knocked out of the park by the super brains, by the, the people that have, what did I call it? The superpower Huntington's disease brain. I'm going to go a little long here, it looks like, but I don't want to. But I just want to say this. I'm kind of excited about this because if you know you have Huntington's disease and you haven't started getting it to the point where it's making you a non-accomplishing person, it's not making, because I heard someone say that when they found out they had Huntington's, they worked another 15 years, I think is what she said. I worked several years after I found out I had it, and I accomplished a lot during those years because I wanted to get ready for the time that we're in. So there's a little bit of encouragement in this, especially if you're, maybe younger and you're finding out about Huntington's disease. I'm going to list too some organizations where you can find out if you've got it. There's new, counseling that goes along with that. There's ways to get DNA studies that you can find. There's a whole bunch of stuff, and I'm going to put that video together so that we have that in the next. I probably won't do that until next week, but the past and the present and now the future. So the future of Huntington's disease is really a brighter, shining star now with the fact that they have all this DNA, RNA, mRNA, and ANA, A, B, C, and D. I'm excited about the current, trend that we're going on, and the smarty pants are figuring it out, so that us people that have had our lives and our brain is slowing down now, we can leave it up to the smarty pants that are the superpower brains that are going ahead now. So that was my thinking. Charles Sabine said this a few months. He said it a while back. It was a TED Talk that he did. And if you want to see that video, all you have to do is look up Charles Sabine and then TED Talk. You can find it on the internet, and you can listen to the whole talk. But the thing that stuck out to me was, he said, we have more brain matter, the Huntington's disease, and we're less likely to get cancer. No one that I know in my family had cancer that had Huntington. So my grandpa didn't have that, my mother didn't have it, and I don't have it. I just went the other day to have an exam because the guy said that with my swollen prostate, he was pretty sure that I had cancer. And you know what? I said, I don't think I do. I don't have any reason to believe, but you know what? I don't. So is there a connection to that? So just think about where you're at and what you've gone through with your life and your family. Hey, this is a longer video, but I think if you listen to it till the end and you've made it this far, you're very interested in knowing. I hope that people will listen to the video. Sometimes the best stuff that I say doesn't come out until the end. I get started and I get wound up like a top. But also, if you stuck through it this long, I forgot to ask in the middle for somebody to subscribe. Hey, our subscriptions went up about 10 or 12 just because I asked. So I guess I should not be so shy and ask. The reason I'm doing that again, I want to have some community where we can all get together and talk about these things. So, is your Huntington's disease brain a superpower? Could it be used as some kind of advantage if you took it now? Think about that. It might be something to really ponder. And some people are younger and they're don't even have it yet. Maybe your parent has it and you haven't even been tested, but maybe you could put your superpower brain to work because you, with or without it, you've got a superpower brain that you can put to work. And that's another thing too. There's a lot of people that have other kinds of diseases. I'm wondering too if their brains are a little bit bigger and massive. Did God create us that way? He overcame some of the downfalls of this by giving us something in the beginning. Did he give us something to compensate? So anyway, I hope this did not bore you, or I hope that it did not last too long. Huntington's disease, Todd, and I'm going to hang up now. Have a great Saturday. I will post something tomorrow about Father's Day. Okay? Thanks and have a good day. Huntington's disease, Todd.